The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you for the next 3 hours. We'll be talking all kinds of sports, locally, regionally, whatever. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up on the program today, we will catch up with the Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle sports editor, Doug Chapin. He'll be our guest at 1 o'clock. Coach Bertolini, Dan Bertolini of the YSU baseball team, he'll be checking in at 1:20. This is the final week of fall practice for the Penguins. After Saturday, they will send everyone on their way to do stuff on their own until after the first of the year, and then they'll restart the practice leading up to the 2021 season. Knock on wood, we have a season. COVID, hopefully they can find a solution for COVID. 2020 has been a freaking nightmare. Hopefully we'll find a solution. Hopefully we will have a baseball season. Hopefully the Penguins will get started in terms of their preparations for the 2021 season, which is supposed to begin sometime in February. Again, everything is up in the air because of this horrible thing that we have going on called COVID, and it just makes life so wonderful for high school, college, and even the pros. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. We congratulate Canfield on their victory over Cardinal Mooney in the Division II District Semifinal in girls soccer. Canfield beating Mooney in the Battle of the Cardinals 6-0 last night. Congratulations to Champion, an upset winner over Ursuline in the D3 District Semifinal. Champion now 12-1. They get a 1-0 victory over Ursuline. And congratulations to South Range. 3 first-half goals, 3 second-half goals. They get in a convincing 6-0 victory over Garrettsville Garfield. They will play Champion in the D3 District Championship game. So congratulations to South Range. Unfortunately, the road goes to a close for Niles. They were shut out by Streetsboro 5-0. So the Streetsboro Rockets will move on, and they'll play Canfield in the D2 District semifinals. We have regular season high school football, and it is so weird. I'm sorry. This is so weird. Having regular season football after most of these teams have already been eliminated from the playoffs, and they're allowed to go back into a regular season. It's just bizarre. It really is bizarre. Completely understand why everyone's doing it, though, because, well, you have 10 games. And I believe everyone in the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Scarlet tier, with the exception of the one team that's alive, and that's Springfield, has played their last conference game. Everyone in the MVAC gray tier, with the exception of Crestview, has played their last league game. And everyone should be playing their last EOAC league game. Now that Leetonia's been eliminated, I look to see when Leetonia and Columbiana are supposed to be playing each other. I mean, they're supposed to be. We'll see if they do. 7 o'clock Friday night, here are the games. Howland is at Marlington. Cheney is at Elyria. Western Reserve at LeBray. Newton Falls at Waterloo. Lowellville will visit East Palestine. Mineral Ridge is at Lisbon. Jackson Milton at Columbiana. Pie Valley is at Edgewood. Grand Valley is at Geneva. Beaver Local will be playing West Branch, and Leetonia is at Sebring. That was supposed to be a week 1 matchup. So all of those games are going to be at 7 o'clock. Those are the regular season games. The teams that are still alive in the postseason, Division 3, Canfield will be playing Streetsboro. That's going to be up at Streetsboro because Streetsboro was the higher seed. Division 7, Dalton will be at Kennedy. A lot of people want to pronounce it Dalton. It is not pronounced Dalton. It is pronounced Dalton. The weird pronunciation, and I got all kinds of hell a few years ago from the folks from Dalton saying you're pronouncing our name wrong. And I said, well, how the hell am I pronouncing the name wrong? Dalton is Dalton. No, it's Dalton. Okay. Now, it's kind of like if, no offense to the people up in Vienna, but if you were to look at that name, Vienna. Absolutely, it's Vienna. No, it's not. It's Vienna. There is a town in Tennessee, Milan. Milan. It's named after Italy. Milan, Italy. Fashion capital of the world. Milan. No. Down there, it's Milan. Milan, which is, I want to say, a little north and a little to the east of Jackson. Milan. So, yeah, you look at this and you're like, Dalton. No, it's Dalton. Okay. Well, Dalton is going to come to Mollenkopf as they will take on JFK, and McDonald will be traveling as they'll be at Lucas. And this is kind of a revenge game for McDonald. They lost to Lucas in the first round last year in the D7 Region 25 quarterfinals. They were beaten in overtime. And Lucas wound up not only advancing that night, they advanced out of the region, and they went to the state championship game. So, unfortunately for Lucas, they lost the game. But they went to the state title game. So, McDonald is looking to exercise some revenge on Lucas on Friday night out in the Mansfield area, as they take on Lucas. Meanwhile, Dalton will be at Kennedy, and again, Dalton, I believe they're out by Worcester. They'll come to Warren. So those are the regional semifinals in Division 7. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we have an all-local Division 7 Region 25 championship game. Saturday night, regional semifinals, Division 4, Ursuline at Poland, Crestview at South Range in Division 5, Region 17, and Mogador, Division 6, Region 21, will go to Springfield to take on the defending D6 runner-up Springfield Tigers. So we'll see what happens there. We're guaranteed to have a local team in the D4 and D5 regional championship game. And we'll see which teams represent the area, whether it be Ursuline or Poland in Division 4, Crestview or South Range in Division 5. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We can talk a little bit about this. We can also bring up a couple of things. It wasn't really mentioned all that much yesterday. Kind of want to mention it. Odell Beckham Jr. out for the year with a torn ACL, and he is clearly done for the season. And the Browns are 5-2, and if you're a Browns fan, you look at this season and you know that your team is a couple of steps, and we're being very generous in saying just a couple of steps behind Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Clearly, Baltimore and Pittsburgh are the two best teams in this division. They proved it by blowing out Cleveland by 20-plus and 30-plus points earlier in the season. Now, the good news is Cleveland has both Baltimore and Pittsburgh in Cleveland in the second half of the season. Without Beckham, there's all kinds of speculation that the Browns are going to try to go after another really good receiver and try to replace Odell Beckham. The truth of the matter is, kids, they don't need another receiver. They don't. They don't need another receiver. The truth of the matter is they have two receivers that are going to be able to take care of business. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to put up the numbers statistically that OBJ does. However, I think, and again, this is just my opinion, as weird as this sounds, I think the Browns are going to be a better team offensively without Odell Beckham Jr. in the lineup. Now, it sounds very bizarre to say that because, well, you're taking away a perennial 1,000-yard receiver. How could you possibly say that? Well, they've played better offensively without Beckham in the lineup. The offense flows a little bit better without Beckham in the lineup. And Hollywood Higgins, who is and has been since Baker's rookie year, Baker Mayfield's security blanket, he finally gets an opportunity to have some more say in this lineup. You know, I've often said that injuries can bring forth opportunities for some players. And you don't wish injury on anybody. I mean, that's just juvenile. If you wish an injury on anyone, and not only is it juvenile, it's sadistic. But it is what it is. I mean, it's, you know, it is an injury. With an injury comes an opportunity. And the opportunity comes for a guy that, frankly, really had a good year in Baker's rookie year. And that was Hollywood Higgins. And I think that he gets an opportunity to remind the fan base, as well as the owner, Jimmy Haslam, and show the brand new management. What is this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth or seventh new version of management under Haslam. Neither here nor there. He gets to show this new management, the new GM, the new coach. Yeah, I'm a pretty good player. And let me just show you what I can do. And oh, by the way, Browns are going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, they barely squeaked by Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, well, you know, I mean, they're not very good. Now, having said that, let me make an argument for Cincinnati for a second. They've only been blown out in one game. Look at Cincinnati's record, and then look at what they have done in their games. They have been beaten by one score in all but one game. This is not a bad team. It isn't. It's a team right now that's trying to figure out how to win. And historically, those that struggle in the one-score type of games, one-loss record, the next year they turn it around. Just to put that in everyone's mind, next year Cincinnati is going to be a much better team. I'm just going to throw that out there. I mean, it's this year, obviously, but 2021, Cincinnati's going to be a much better team. This is not a bad football team, not at all. So let me ask Browns Nation. Hit me up on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline at 330-886-0813. Browns Nation, here's your question for today. Is your team better off for the rest of the year with Hollywood Higgins and other receivers? Donovan Peoples-Jones, who made an unbelievable catch, keeping both feet in bounds at the end of the game-winning touchdown. Between Donovan Peoples-Jones and Hollywood Higgins, you guys have it covered? Look, I mean, 1 week from today, I believe, is the trade deadline. Look, if the Browns really want to make a deal, y'all better make a deal for one of the back seven guys. You might want to make a deal for a defensive back. You might want to make a deal for a linebacker. You might want to improve that back seven. Because if you can improve that back seven while keeping the very impressive pass rush that the Browns have, you could be talking about a much, much better football team and a much bigger threat down the road. Look, I've said this from day one, and this is just football 101. A really good pass rush turns a poor secondary into an okay secondary. An okay secondary into a good secondary into a very good secondary, a very good secondary into a great secondary, and a great secondary into an elite secondary. That's what a good pass rush does. A poor pass rush, i.e. the Buffalo Bills, can turn an elite secondary into a great secondary into a very good secondary, a very good secondary into a good secondary into an average secondary into a below average secondary, a below average secondary into a blah secondary. That's what a pass rush or a lack of pass rush can do. Browns already have pass rush. They already got that covered. They have a pass rush. They can put pressure on a quarterback without blitzing anybody because they have that front four. They can do that. So if you're going to make a deal, you might want to try to make a deal for a cover corner or a safety that kind of has a freaking clue, or a linebacker, or both, and try to give up some of that capital that the Browns have. I mean, that's instead of going out and trying to get a Thielen from Minnesota or someone of that ilk, you don't need one. In my opinion, you don't need a quote unquote great receiver. You already have good chemistry with Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones, a combination of those two replacing OBJ. Now, are those two as good as OBJ numbers-wise? No, they're not. But I'm going to tell you, the eye test does not fail in this regard. The Browns are a better team when OBJ is not on that field. And that's an eye test, and the eye test is 2020. I don't give a crap what the numbers say. The eye test is always 2020. Regardless of what numbers tell you, the eye test is always 2020. From a Steelers perspective, by the way, an impressive win on Sunday, even though there were a lot of things that went wrong toward that game. I thought it was an impressive victory by the Steelers. They jump out to a 27-7 lead. They were just absolutely lethal on Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry didn't get going until the Titans started mounting a rally, and even then, his numbers weren't all that great. I think that Pittsburgh is in a position right now, and we can pretty much play with anybody in the AFC. I don't know if they can beat the elite two teams in the AFC or the perceived elite two teams in the AFC, although Pittsburgh's undefeated. They're going to play Baltimore this week. All right. It'll be a knockdown, drag-out, physical affair. And, well, I mean, in a perfect world, you didn't want to play Tennessee last Sunday, but unfortunately, COVID and Tennessee's shenanigans had the Steelers playing their game on Sunday. Fortunately, the karma came back to bite Tennessee in the ass when their kicker couldn't kick a field goal, and Pittsburgh wound up winning the ball game. That's karma. That's a great delivery of karma, and I loved every second of that. Even though I'm not particularly a Steelers fan, I'm not a fan of people that blatantly cheat, which Tennessee did. But the NFL doesn't want to do anything about it because, well, the NFL they just turn a blind eye to that stuff. So here comes Pittsburgh. Going to play Baltimore, another physical game. And look, I mean, this will be a great game. This will be a great test for both teams. If the Pittsburgh wins this game, okay, division. Okay, they didn't play Kansas City. I get that. I get that. But again, the eye test is 2020. Steelers have looked played. I mean, how many winning teams have they played? Okay, all right. I get that. I get that. You only play what's in front of you schedule-wise. Okay? I mean, it's not their fault that, the schedule is saying, hey, we're not going to load you up with a bunch of undefeated teams. I mean, they're only playing the schedule that has been given to them. And look, it pretty much goes like this. You play your same division 2 times. So that's 6 games. You play the exact same teams in one division in the AFC and one division in the NFC. So for 14 of your 16 games, each team in their division will play the exact same schedule. They will play the exact same teams 14 of the 16 games. So when people sit back and go, one team in the AFC, random division, and one team in the NFC, random division. And it's based upon last year where you finished. So if you finished in first place, you would take on the team that finished in first. Last year, they finished in second place. They get the second place finisher in the AFC East. That would be the Buffalo Bills. And they get the second place finisher from a random NFC division. Okay. Those are the 2 games that none of the other division are playing. By the way, the Browns finished in third place in the AFC North. They're playing the New York Jets. I mean, they already played the Jets. At least I think they played the Jets earlier this year. But they're going to play the Jets if they haven't played them already. And the Steelers fan, you can obviously say, well, England and half of their defense decided to sit out because we're in a COVID-19 world, and these guys didn't want to threaten or didn't want to take the chance of possibly having some health problems down the road. So Baltimore is going to be taking on essentially a distant. Pittsburgh is going to be taking on a very good, although injury-plagued, Buffalo team. If you're a Steeler fan right now, get past this Baltimore game. You beat Baltimore? Oh, man. Look, I'll say it right now. This team is an existential threat to win the NFC. I don't think there's any 2 ways about this. They are an absolute threat to win the AFC. They might be the best team in the AFC. And again, the eye test is 2020. If you pretty much know what you're talking about and you know the game, the eye test is 2020. And I've seen the Steelers, I've seen the Ravens, I've seen the Chiefs, I've seen the Bills, I've seen more 2 times, and they're going to still have to play Buffalo. But for right now, Steelers are the best team I've seen this year in the AFC. Before the trade deadline. Honestly, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, well, you maybe a backup quarterback just in case something happens to Ben, but what do you need starting-wise? Another linebacker? Probably. I mean, now that Devin Bush is out for the year, that's going to be a bit of a need. Devin Bush being out for the rest of the year, I think that's going to be a need, and it might show its ugly head by the end of the season. That's something that, if I were in the Steelers front office, I would probably look at some of the teams that were supposed to be contenders this year that aren't contenders, that probably won't be contenders, and probably want to build some equity in their draft in 2021 and save some money along the way. I would probably look at the linebacking situation from these teams and say, okay, can we go out and get someone almost as good as, or if you're really lucky, better than a Devin Bush? If the Bears weren't a contender, and judging by the ass kicking that they took last night, I don't necessarily think they are, even though they're 5-2. I would make a play for Mac Wilson. The problem is it would cost you an arm, a leg, and your firstborn, and I don't know. I mean, look, Pittsburgh paid a pretty significant price for Minkah Fitzpatrick last year, and, oh, by the way, paid dividends. I don't know if they would want to do the same thing and get a Mac Wilson. I mean, if they did, you can crown Pittsburgh in the National Football League. I'm just saying. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers go out and do something un-Steeler-like prior to the trade deadline? I don't know, but it'll be a lot of fun to see. Trade deadline is 1 week from today. Something else coming up 1 week from today. I don't know. Maybe my memory will be jarred. Something about voting. On a serious note, I don't care who you vote for. It's your business. But do your civic duty. Absolutely do your civic duty. Go out and vote. 1 week from today, a lot of things on the line. Again, just do your civic duty and vote. If you haven't voted already, and kudos to those that have done that. I wanted to wait till Election Day. Yeah, I just like going there and feeling that excitement, especially in a presidential election. I love going to the polls on a presidential election, and there's just a different, really cool vibe when you go in a presidential election. You see all these people that, as if they're going to change anybody's mind because they're out there with their stupid signs. Like I said, as if they're going to change people's minds. Look, here's a spoiler alert. If you haven't figured out who you're voting for going into your little cubby hole that you do when you close the curtains and you exercise your freedom, the greatest freedom that we have in our country, to vote, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And like I said, your vote, hey, all I ask is you do it. Exercise your right to vote. Many, many years ago, when I was still in high school, and God, we're going back a few years. Greatest thing ever told to me, and I think it was my senior year, because it had to have been my senior year. It was government class. Mr. Kemp taught the class, Coach Kemp, who's the defensive coordinator over at Niles now. He sat back and said one of the things that has always stuck with me, and I think it is so important in today's climate. If you don't go out and vote, you have no reason to bitch. You just don't. You have no reason to bitch. You didn't exercise your rights. Why would you complain? You have no right to. You didn't vote. I think it makes perfect sense. Again, just my personal opinion. All right, 330-886-0813. Got plenty of things to talk about. Doug Chapin from the Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle will be chiming in at 1 o'clock. Again, we have high school football to talk about. Anthony and I ran down the list of, excuse me. We ran down the list yesterday of the 8 teams in the YSN family that are still alive, putting them 1 through 8. And we made our list, and if you want to jump in on that, absolutely. Number 1 being the easiest path, if there is such a thing, to the regional finals. Number 8 being the hardest path to the regional finals. We put that down 1 through 8. If you want to play that game, we can certainly do that. Do we have a... Which I guess we can play this game as well. In the regions that we have left in the YSN family, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We can talk about Division 2 if you want to, but 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the divisions left in the YSN family. Which of these regions will be the easiest, or not the easiest, but which of these regions from really good chance of winning the region to hardly any chance of winning the region? You want to play that game, we can do that as well. 330-886-0813. Also, if you're a Browns fan, if you're a Steelers fan, questions for you. If you're a Steelers fan, what do you do trade deadline? And the team that they have right now, do you think the Steelers are the best team in the AFC right now? And if they are or aren't, do the Steelers need anything come trade deadline 1 week from today? If you're a Browns fan, a lot of people have been speculating, well, now that OBJ's out for the rest of the year, maybe the Browns need to go out and get another playmaking wide receiver close to OBJ's level, to which I say poppycock. They don't need one. I think it's a time now for the duo of Hollywood Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones to step up and show new management that these two guys can play this game, and that Donovan Peoples-Jones is not just a punt returner, kick returner. He can also be a pretty good wide receiver, as evidenced by what he did Sunday in the game-winning touchdown. Do the Browns go out and, instead of try to get a wide receiver, do they go out and fix the defense, or at least the defensive backfield and the linebacking core? Personally, I think the Browns should go after one of each. Because here's a news flash. Browns are 5-2. Here's a news flash part 2. The Browns have the easiest schedule left percentage-wise currently in the National Football League, and here is part 3. If they go out and get a linebacker and a defensive back, not only are they in the playoffs, they are now a much more dangerous football team because they already have an elite pass rush. They already have that. And if you have that, you can turn a garbage secondary into a somewhat acceptable secondary, which is kind of sort of what they've done, even though the defense still is questionable at best. All right, 330-886-0813. Take some phone calls. And coming up at 1 o'clock, we will hear from Doug Chapin from The Vindicator and the Tribune Chronicle. That's all coming up in a bit. Stick around, more to come.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at
Baby boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our
Good
valley.
Community in Niles.
We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone.
No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Wanted to make mention of what we kind of talked a little bit about in the first segment, and like I said, Anthony and I went through the 8 teams that were left, or that are left in the YSN family. 9 teams overall, 8 teams left in the YSN family, and how many teams ranking them top to bottom. In terms of their path to the regional finals next week. And I had Kennedy number 1 because I think that Dalton, and again, it's not Dalton, it's Dalton for those that are not sure of this. You know, and again, I say this based on the discussion, and we'll leave it at that, from Daltonites. From doing a game many, many moons ago. I think Kennedy has a slightly better chance of going into the regional finals than Springfield does. By the way, I think both of them go into the regional finals. I don't think either team is losing this weekend. But the question that we had yesterday was the team that you believe has the easiest path to the regional finals next week. And for me, I think the easiest path belongs to JFK because I think Dalton is not as good a team as Mogador is. And again, I think that JFK and Springfield both get in to the regional finals. But I have Kennedy number 1, Springfield number 2. And then I have the winner of the Ursuline-Poland game at number 3. And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess this is now okay. Which game is going to be more exciting in terms of the spread, in terms of margin of victory, and based on how we're doing this. I had said Ursuline was going to be number 3 and South Range was going to be number 4. That is telling me that, or I'm saying that the Crestview South Range game is going to be closer than the Ursuline Poland game. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Looking at this, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. But I have Ursuline 3. I had South Range 4. I had Canfield 5. And by the way, I think Canfield has a good chance of beating Streetsboro. I just do. And I think that the loser of the Crestview South Range game is 6. The loser of the Ursuline Poland game is 7. And I have McDonald at 8. By the way, I had Crestview at 6, Poland at 7, and McDonald at 8. And if you wanted to go D3, 4, I'm sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, because we do have teams left in all of these divisions. Which division is the easiest to win, and which one is going to be the hardest to win? And for this one, again, 6 and 7 are probably going to be the top 2. Division 6 and Division 7 are probably going to be the top 2. And at this point, I'm going to say Springfield at number 1 because, well, they've earned it. They're the team that went out of the region. They're the team that went to the state championship game last year. They're the team that has this. They're on a mission. They believe that they can win a state championship in Division 6, and we'll see if they can. We'll see if they can. Coldwater is still out there. Now the team that they got beat by, Anna, is gone. They got bounced, but Coldwater is still out there. So we'll see what happens. But I'll have Springfield number 1. I think Division 6. We have the best chance at getting a team out of Division 6. So that's of the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the 5 divisions in our YSN family. I'm going to put Division 6 as the division with the best chance at getting a local representation. I'm going to have Division 7 number 2 in that perspective. And I think that JFK is probably the best shot locally. No disrespect to McDonald. I think JFK is our best chance. And I think if JFK gets past Dalton on Saturday, whether they play McDonald, whether they play Lucas, I think Kennedy can get the job done. So I'll put D6 number 1 as the easiest, potentially the easiest region for our area as far as getting a local team to be the regional champion. D7 is going to be number 2 on the list. D4 is going to be number 3 on the list. And this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because, again, there's a top seed in D4 that's pretty good in Perry, and they're going to be heard from, obviously, and the winner of Ursuline Poland, they'll get their chance in the regional finals. They'll most definitely get their chance in the regional finals, but, waiting in the wings potentially is going to be the top-seeded team. And potentially that team, Canal Fulton Northwest, will be playing Menor Lake Catholic. One would think Canal Fulton Northwest will be waiting in the wings for the winner of the Ursuline Poland game, and that's not a slam dunk. I don't think any of this is a slam dunk, but it's certainly going to be harder than the path of Springfield and JFK. So I'm going to put Division 4 in the number 3 spot. I'm going to put Division 3 in the 4 spot. And again, Division 3, Region 9. This is an absolutely loaded, and I do mean loaded, region. It's incredibly hard. Think of this for a second. Here's your regional semifinals in D3, Region 9. By the way, it's all chalk. Yeah, it's all chalk. Number 1, Chardon, is going to be playing number 4, New Philadelphia. And that's going to be up at Chardon. And number 2, Streetsboro, is going to be playing number 3, Canfield. Now, I think Canfield has a really good chance at beating Streetsboro. I do. I think they have a good chance at beating Streetsboro. And obviously, if New Philadelphia were to upset Chardon, well, that sets up a rematch of a regular season game that Canfield pretty much dominated. They pretty much dominated New Philadelphia. I mean, they were up 31-10. New Philadelphia scored 2, by the way, touchdowns in the fourth quarter, made the game a whole lot closer than what the final score indicated. And I think that if New Philadelphia were to upset Chardon, I think Canfield has a really good chance at, assuming they get past Streetsboro, they have a really good chance. They have a damn good chance at winning this region. But if Chardon wins, okay, now that's a different animal. That team, that team's good. I mean, that team is really, really good. Think about this for a second. We sit back and we talk about our area being pretty good, and it is. Our area is pretty solid. In the 3-county area of Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana counties, we get some pretty solid football. Nowhere close to the football that is being played in Geauga and Lake counties. Chardon is in that county. in one of those two counties. Menor is in one of those two counties. Painesville Riverside is, I'm pretty sure they're in Lake County. I might be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure they're in Lake County. And oh, by the way, the best small school team in the state of Ohio, Kirtland, is in that region as well. I'm just saying, if you ever want to be on a normal COVID-free football Friday or a football weekend, and you don't have a dog in the fight in the area, and you just want to see high school football, you might want to venture up into Geauga County or Lake County and watch one of those teams. Unbelievable how good the football is up there. And these are two relatively small counties. I mean, Menor is in Lake County, and Menor's a pretty nice suburb to the east of Cleveland. But Geauga County and Lake County, I mean, they're not explodingly large populations, but my God, is the football great there. Ooh, man, are they good. So I'll put D3 at number 4 in this, and then obviously D5 is number 5, and this is absolutely positively no disrespect toward Crestviews program or South Range's program, and I think that by the way, that game Saturday night is going to be unbelievable. I think it's going to be unbelievable. I think that this game is going to be a much closer game than people think, and I understand. And this all goes to Coach Cusick brought up a point that I've been trying to pound home for the last 7 or 8 years. Actually, a hell of a lot longer. But since I came back to the area, it's even more glaringly obvious that there is a stigma attached to the Columbiana County schools for whatever reason, which is just absurd to me. It just is. It's absurd. I think that Crestview and South Range is going to be a hell of a lot closer than what people think. And do not be a bit surprised if Crestview beats them. Don't be a bit surprised if that happens. I think this game's going to be a hell of a lot closer than what people are saying. And I know there's, you hear some people, wow, this shouldn't be a problem for South Range. Look at their schedule. Oh, look at this. Okay. All right, look at what Crestview did to Garrettsville Garfield. I would pretty much tell everyone that they outperformed everyone's expectations. They did. I'm not saying Crestview wins the game. I'm just saying that game is going to be a lot closer than what people think, regardless who wins this game. You're going to have to play a perfect game with no turnovers, no significant penalties, and you're basically going to have to play keep away with that Kirtland offense if you want to have any chance at winning. And even if you do all of those things, you still might not beat Kirtland. That might be the best football program in Ohio today. I am dead serious when I say this. That might be the best program in Ohio today. And as much of the stigma that some of the schools in Columbiana County have, and again, my opinion, the stigma is even more for, the smaller schools. Because everyone loves the bigger schools. Well, let's be honest. You get a bigger school, Division I, Division II. They're going to sit back and go, well, we're the best. I mean, if we win a championship in D1 or D2, hey, we're the best in the state of Ohio, bar nobody. This is because we're the biggest division. If we win the championship, obviously we're the best team in the state of Ohio. Okay, on paper, absolutely, and I think that it would probably bear out in on the field, on the court, on the diamond. I think it would probably bear out. I mean, you're not going to get the Hoosiers type of miracle on a yearly basis. That's the reason why they stopped playing every school in the state gets to play each other, and it doesn't matter what division you're in. There are no divisions. The large schools against the small schools, we don't have divisions. And they used to do that back in certain states in tournaments. And they crowned one champion. Hence the reason why Hoosiers was brought to the attention of everyone and made a movie. By the way, that might have been Gene Hackman's greatest performance, neither here nor there. There's a reason why that movie was incredibly successful, and it smacked of, this is, we root for the underdog. We root for the underdog for this reason. Fast forward to 1980, and the United States men's hockey program, going up against the greatest hockey entity possibly in the history of hockey. The greatest entity. They beat the living hell out of an NHL All-Star team. This 1980 Soviet Union team beat the hell out of an NHL All-Star team. Beat the hell out of the U.S. Olympians prior to the Olympic Games in Lake Placid. I mean, they beat the crap out of them at Madison Square Garden. I think they scored double-digit goals. I think it was like 10-2, 11-2, some crazy score like that. And then in the Olympic medal round, well, we know what happened. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. United States upset the Soviet Union. They wind up winning the gold medal. Everyone loves that underdog story. But look, there's a reason why you don't have, everyone playing in one division because, well, it's not fair to the smaller schools. Hence the reason why we have D7, D6, D5, D4, 3, 2, 1, whatever. The point in all of this is if we were to go back to, okay, we're going to have, every team's going to be playing each other regardless of size, Kirtland would be in the Final Four or the Final Eight. Most definitely. There is no doubt in my mind they would be one of the top 4 or top 8 teams in the state of Ohio. They're that good. That might be, pound for pound, the best run program in the state of Ohio. Up there with Maria Stein Marion Local, up there with Akron Hoban, up there with any other program. That is a damn good program. And it's, again, South Range is having an unbelievable year. Crestview is having an unbelievable year. Forget about the hiccup on opening night. It was a monsoon. Whoever wins that game, oh, man, you got your hands full and then some. It's going to be tough to beat Kirtland because that team, they're so technically sound. It's just going to be a really, really tough game for either one of these teams. And both of these teams are really good. Both of these teams are really good. So for me, Division 5 is going to be the hardest region to win. Now, if Kirtland were to be upset, who are they playing? They're playing Sugar Creek Garraway, the 4 seed. Garraway knocked off Bel Air 61-0 in their quarterfinal game. Garraway, if they were to upset Kirtland, okay, now there's a chance. Now there's a much better chance of this happening. Much, much better chance of this happening. But as long as Kirtland is there, man, that's an obstacle. Whew, that's a tough obstacle. So of the 5 divisions, I'm going to say Division 5 is going to be the toughest to obtain, and Division 6 will probably be the easiest to obtain. And when it's all said and done, we're going to do well. I think we will. I think we're going to have honestly, and we'll talk about this later in the week, I think we have a really good chance to have just a ton of teams into the regional championship game. I mean, we're guaranteed 2. Now, unfortunately, 2 of our teams are going to be by the wayside because we have an all-local matchup in the regional semifinals. The winner of Ursuline Poland moves on. The loser goes home. The winner of Crestview South Range goes on. The loser goes home. And the teams that are playing out-of-town teams, I like our chances. I think we're going to get a lot of representation in the regional championship game. I'm just saying. And then we'll go from there. But, man, it's going to be a hell of a good week in high school football. I really think that this is going to be a fun week, and most of our Valley teams are going to be smiling. I think most of our Valley teams will be smiling. All right, 330-886-0813. Coming up in a bit, we will hear from Doug Chapin, the esteemed sports editor of the Vindicator as well as the Tribune Chronicle. Well, it was Tribune Chronicle first and now the Vindicator, since the 2 papers have combined. We'll catch up with Doug Chapin in just a little bit. Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. It's all coming up in a bit. Stick around, more to come.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
With Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And joining me, as always, every Tuesday at this time on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, we bring in the esteemed sports editor of the Tribune Chronicle as well as the Vindicator, Doug Chapin. Doug, how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I made mention Saturday night. My father and I went to see Crestview play, and as everyone should know by now, my nephew is the quarterback for Crestview, Anthony Cusick, and I told my dad, I said, well, you're going to get a really good article in the Vindicator about this game because it's one of those games where it fit both newspapers. You have Garrettsville Garfield, which is just inside the Portage-Trumbull County line, and that is a team that is covered by the Tribune Chronicle, and you have the Rebels, a team that's covered by the Vindicators, so everyone was a happy camper, and in this regard, and I just wish there were more games like that where you guys weren't going to be so busy, because you'd have one reporter nailing two different stories in each paper.
Yeah, that works out quite a bit. We'll get the All-American Conference gives us that kind of thing often with Harding and Howland in the Tribune readership area, and Boardman and Canfield in the Vindicator readership. And we'll do a story. We'll cover that kind of game, and then we'll usually we write a story from the viewpoint of the winning team, and we will tweak it a little bit for the opposite paper to make it more from the viewpoint of the local team, even though they lost. So yeah, that happens quite a bit. We get a few of those, and we can send one guy or one reporter to cover, and we hit two different circulation areas.
Doug, this was the first time I had an opportunity to see the G-men play. First of all, I was incredibly impressed by both teams on Saturday night. I was very impressed by the patience of both teams, and I was talking with a friend of mine who happens to be one of the coaches for Garrettsville Garfield, and they're 1 year away. They had a bunch of kids coming back next year. And the fact that they're going to be jumping into the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference, I think that it's a great move for Garrettsville Garfield. It's a great move for the MVAC. And I think everyone is probably going to have to look at a really, really good Garrettsville Garfield team in 2021. I think they might be and should be the team everyone looks out for in 2021, based on how many kids are going to be coming back.
Yeah, when they first announced that move, that they were going to the what was then the AAC Blue tier, now is the MVAC Gray. It looked like a good matchup, a good fit. They were a really good fit with the Champion LeBray, Newton Falls, Brookfield, Camel, and Crestview. And it looks like a good match. And that was kind of a neat thing about that game is it was two teams that are going to be playing in the same league starting next year, and are expected to be pretty good rivals, at least in the football aspect of things. Excuse me. They are at the either end of the geographic spectrum of that conference, but I think they're both really good fits.
And it just when I was coming home, I was looking for the Welcome to Trumbull County sign, or entering Trumbull County, leaving Portage County. Didn't take long. Once you got out of Garrettsville, it didn't take too long to see that sign, and you're literally within a few miles of the Portage and Trumbull County border.
Yeah, and Garrettsville and Windham both have long had playing relationships with Newton Falls and LeBray, because Newton Falls and LeBray are both on the border with Portage County, and they play each other a lot, so they're already familiar with each other. Champion also has, it's only 10 miles in from Portage County, so it's played Garrettsville quite a bit too. So yeah, there's already some relationships made, and there will be new ones coming along. Brookfield's all the way on the other side of the county. I'm sure they're going to have a nice rivalry going with Garrettsville and Crestview before long.
Doug, as we go into the regional semifinals, and 8 teams left in the YSN family, 9 teams left overall. We have 2 local matchups. D4 Region 13 on Saturday night, Ursuline and Poland in a rare game. These two teams haven't seen each other in about 15 years. D5 Region 17, a couple of teams that see each other on a yearly basis. Unfortunately, they didn't play each other this year because of COVID. Other than that, you've got local teams taking on teams from outside of the area. Which game are you most looking forward to see on Friday or Saturday night?
I don't know. That's Poland Ursuline looks like it's going to be a really nice game. I mean, at this level, at this stage, they're all really good matchups. with really good teams facing each other. The Springfield-Mogadore game is intriguing, too. We know Springfield's really solid, and they get a lot of kids back from the state championship game team from a year ago. But Mogadore's Mogadore. They're always ready come playoff time. And, of course, the South Range Crestview game is really interesting, too. I like the fact that even though Crestview, they ended up in different leagues, but they have continued to that rivalry because they're similar in size and their programs have been solid for several years. So I like that fact that they do get a chance to meet again this year, even though COVID had wiped out the regular season game. Harding and Hudson's a nice, an interesting one too. Harding had a really tough schedule, and this is the kind of game where you hope that will play in their favor, in that they've seen quite a few really good teams, and so they shouldn't be intimidated going in against a undefeated Hudson team. I think what were they, the 3 seed. So every game this weekend is really going to be interesting. You don't expect any blowouts at this level, although sometimes you get them. But and I've said this before. I think in past, when you get to this level of tournament play, all these teams have been really good, had really good seasons, and haven't faced that much where things are going wrong. And that's always a good test for a quality team, is when things start to go badly during a game, how do they react, and are they able to come back and get things back on track? So that'll be one of the things to look for this weekend with all these good teams playing each other.
Well, McDonald comes off an impressive victory over Leetonia, and they're going to try to exercise a demon that is probably still hovering around the McDonald land, and that is the loss that they suffered in Week 1 of the 2019 postseason, the quarterfinals, and they wound up losing to Lucas, who wound up winning the region and going to the state championship game last year. McDonald will try to travel to Lucas and hopefully set up an all-local matchup next week, assuming that Kennedy can beat Dalton.
Yeah, that would be the matchup we'd certainly like to see. Yeah, and it's the thing about that's one of the things about tournament play that you really don't have much control over. McDonald Mayfield seemed disappointed that they lost in the first round of the playoffs last year, but the team they lost to made it to the state championship. So, who's to say if things hadn't been arranged differently, they could have gone all the way to the state championship game too, where and meet Lucas there. So that's one of those things, and we talk about it too when we get into the regionals in basketball and the other sports, that our teams don't do very well in the regional sometimes. Well, sometimes that's because they just face the better team first. If you get a setup where you've got a gradual increase in quality in the opponents you face, then that's one thing, and you can make a run. But if you face the best team right off the bat, and you play them close and they beat you, and then they go on to win it or come close to winning it, you still should feel good about the team you had, even though you lost early in the tournament. It just was a matter of you just didn't get the right matchup to start with.
Yeah, that's a tough thing in basketball, because you have to somewhat be lucky. First of all, if you get through the sectional and district tournament, that's a hell of an accomplishment. You'd be surprised how many schools have not won a district championship. And then you realize how fortunate your program is if you've been able to taste a district championship. But I agree with you. When you go into the regionals, okay, there's 3 other teams that you're going to be seeing in the regionals, and you might have that prohibitive favorite, and then you got to be fortunate and hope and pray that it's not your year to face that region off the top of the bat. That you want to face that region in a regional championship setup where you could be technically an Elite 8 program instead of a Sweet 16 program if we're talking statewide.
Yeah, and that's, in the end, you if you want to win the state championship, you've got to beat the best team somewhere along the line. Now, whether you do it in your third tournament game or whether you do it in your seventh or eighth tournament game, that's that just depends on excuse me, how things are set up. So yeah, a lot of it is out of the hands of these teams and these kids. They just go out and do the best they can to win the game that's in front of them.
As we look next year, and obviously we still have plenty of football to be played, but as we look next year, the OHSAA has now officially said, hey, we're just going to stay with what we were planning on doing next year, and that's top 12 teams in each region go to the playoffs. So next year, the top 4 seeds are going to get a bye. Based upon the byes that everyone got in the earlier in the playoffs, is it a good idea to have 12 teams and have the top 4 teams do a bye? Because it seems to me, okay, most of those teams did survive, but they didn't necessarily all play really good football coming off their bye week.
I don't know. I'm looking at the scores, and it's hard to tell whether the scores had anything to do with a week of inaction or whatever. But they all won fairly easily. And I don't know. You'd have to talk to each individual coach and team to see what sort of effect they thought they felt from the bye week. Some, it may have helped if they had some nagging injuries that were able to heal up. Others, you can put in a few, hone your bag of tricks, your trick plays and your 2-point conversion plays, and go through all that stuff and make sure you've got that down how you like it. There's probably an argument for both ways. That the week off could be a negative and it can be a positive. So I don't know. Obviously, the OHSA isn't going to. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do, no matter what the coaches think or feel. So it is what it is, and you've got to deal with it. If you don't want to be in one of the top 4 seeds, and there's nothing you can do there. Obviously, you want to be seated higher because you're going to be faced. The tournament should set up in your favor that way, but I don't know. I've got no problem with them going to 12. The coaches will deal with it 2 years after they've started it that way. Nobody will even say anything about it probably if it everything goes well. So yeah, I like the idea of getting more. I think we would be right. Last week we were 16 teams, correct?
Yeah, last week was 16. No, actually, last week was 8. 2 weeks ago we were 16-8. Last week was 8-4. Now we're going 4-2.
So the 8-4 is the normal first round of the playoffs.
Yes.
So if we go back 2 weeks and look back to what happened that week, that will be similar to what we should expect starting next year with 12 teams. You'll have teams 5 through 12 will be playing.
Yes.
And so I think that from a standpoint of competition, it should be solid. I don't expect to have too many blowouts, but we shall see. I mean, sometimes it just depends on the region. Some of them, you got 6 really good teams in a region, and then there's a drop off. Sometimes the drop off is between 3 and 4. Each one is different, and each year is different too, I think. So it's really hard to tell what's going to happen year in and year out, but we'll just go with it and see what happens.
A couple more things on football, then we'll change the subject. How many teams do you expect locally to represent our area in the regional finals next weekend? We're guaranteed 2.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we're guaranteed 2.
I was going to say. I'd hope, let's see, there's 1. That should be 3. That should be 4. I'm thinking probably four or five.
Yeah, that's and possibly. Yeah, I mean, two that were guaranteed. I think Springfield and JFK are in pretty good shape. I think Canfield has a really nice chance as well, and then the other two local teams. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe we run the table and have 7 left. Which that would be running the table. So we'll see what transpires there. As we get closer to basketball season, and as Governor DeWine is calling the shots in terms of who can and can't be at scholastic events right now, do you worry that with basketball season coming up on the horizon, if we don't get a handle on this in a month or so, we could be looking at practically nobody in the auditoriums to watch boys and girls basketball this year?
I think they're doing that. That's the way it is in volleyball now. And I'm assuming that if things do not improve, that it will be the same kind of setup, where there aren't very many. Each team has a certain number of tickets they can have available. Each player has I think 2 or whatever. It depends on the school. I think each school is doing their own. But yeah, that's certainly very possible. And in some places, it's not going to, the drop off in attendance isn't going to be that much because there aren't that many people going anyway. It's not like it used to be years ago. They're just the attendance has been dwindling as it is. I don't want to say it's to the point of it's just friends and family, but in some schools it's getting that way. But yeah, that certainly will be a factor. We're starting to contact the athletic directors to get schedules in, and I'm not sure how that's going to go, whether the schedules are all set up yet or not. Normally they are, but I'm not sure whether there are going to be some more limitations on the number of games and that kind of thing too. So yeah, it's a very fluid situation right now as to how that's going to work out.
You brought up something that has bothered me since I came back home, and I'm not afraid to say this. When I came back home, I was at the beginning of the basketball season, and I want to say it was 2012, 2013 a basketball season. I was not only disappointed, I was appalled at the lack of fundamentals that was being showcased in basketball. Now, thankfully, we've gotten better basketball wise. But why is it that this area has become suddenly disinterested in high school basketball? Wasn't that long ago where you had just an incredible amount of people that would go see a regular season basketball game, an incredible amount of people that would go to the field house or Salem or Boardman or Harding or whichever locale and have that place asses to elbows in the seats, where you probably couldn't shoehorn another person into the arena to see a high school basketball game. Why is it all of a sudden in the last 20 some odd years that this area has collectively turned its back on high school basketball?
I don't know. I mean, there are some. One of the possibilities is as you were talking there, I was trying to think of some things. Girls basketball has grew in popularity and got to the point where I think in the past, before it was in existence, and I think the first year of the state tournament was 1976, my senior year, and but it has grown, and I think the families of the girls basketball players, because they're going out twice a week to those games, aren't going to go to as many boys games, and when you're talking about the popularity dying or being reduced, I'm assuming you're talking about boys basketball. because girls is probably about the same as it's always been, and it stays steady because it is, no offense, it is mostly for friends and family that are attending. But you're right. In the old days, a lot of people that just lived in the community would come out to basketball games, and they don't much anymore, or as much. There are other things to do. The students sections aren't as big. The kids don't come out. The cost is probably a factor too. It's gone up. I would say that there are kids that aren't playing basketball that could be because they're also involved in indoor soccer. And a lot of coaches, basketball-wise, tell kids, if you want to play on our basketball team, you can't play something else during the season. And so kids make that choice, and they choose the indoor soccer. Those are a couple of things that can be part of the thing. Another thing is just that the interest of basketball is down a little bit, I think, overall. I watch NBA now, depending on how good the Cavaliers are. When the Cavs are bad, I don't follow it very much at all. The same is true with high school or college basketball. I follow it closer when Ohio State is doing well. So I just think there's a general less interest in basketball in general, and then those other things I talked about that specifically to high school basketball. That could be some of the factors.
Doug Chapin, Tribune Chronicle and Vindicator sports editor, joining me every Tuesday at this time on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Doug, before we let you go, the horrible news that came out of Cleveland yesterday. It was speculated Sunday night. It was confirmed on Monday that OBJ would be out for the rest of the year with a torn ACL. As weird as this sounds, I think the Browns are going to be in okay shape. I think that the Browns are actually the potential for this team might actually be a little bit better, as weird as it sounds, because now Hollywood Higgins gets this opportunity to remind the owner, Jimmy Haslam, and basically show off the skills for the brand new management that this kid is and has always been the security blanket of one Baker Mayfield since Baker's rookie year, and between he and Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think the other side of the field is taken care of with Landry on one side and the combination of these two kids on the other side. And furthermore, I think if the Browns really want to help themselves, instead of going after a wide receiver in the trade deadline, which is 1 week from today, I think they should go out and get themselves a DB or a linebacker or both.
Well, I don't know whether you can get somebody that's going to make an impact at the trade deadline, but the first thing I want to say about the Browns is they are not there yet. Everybody says, well, they're beating the teams they can beat, they should be beaten, but they're not being able to compete with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Well, no, they're not. They aren't that good yet. But last year they weren't beating the teams they should beat. At least they're taking a step in the right direction to get to that level where they're beating the teams they beat. And I think, I don't remember if I was talking to you about this or maybe in the office, this team to win games is going to have to score 35 points. The defense is not there yet. You can't acquire one person to fix that defense right now. The Browns right now have 2 All-Pro level players, maybe 3 that are at the next level, maybe even just 2 at the next level, and then a bunch of guys who've been around who are spare parts. They're depth chart fillers. That's just the way it is right now with that defense. And you can't fix that in a week or in the middle of the season. That takes drafts, 2 or 3 drafts to fix that, and or free agent signings in the off season. So having said that, they're going to have to score 35, and I think I agree with you that they are I don't want to say better team, but they can be more productive with Beckham gone. He was a negative. It's like what is it saying? Improvement through with him leaving. I'm not sure what that term is, but with him gone, I think it frees up things. Now, one of the things too, and I'm not sure if other teams were doing anything special to to guard him, double teaming, that kind of stuff, then there's a little bit of that's not going to help the Browns. But if it was just one-on-one, and it seemed to be most of the time, then we should be fine. The Browns should be fine. When Chubb gets back and they can get the running game going again, Austin Hooper, I think, is more of an important factor than Beckham, the way things have gone this year. So, yeah, I think offensively they'll be okay, and they will need the offense to click in order to win games, because they just, the defense is not capable of, holding teams below 20 points. It's not going to happen as much as the Browns fans want it to. That's the nature of the thing right now, and so they can still make the playoffs by beating the teams they should beat. And no, they're not ready yet to beat the really good teams. And I think that's part of the problem. The week before, when they lost to Pittsburgh, the Browns went into it thinking, "Oh, we got to win this game. This is the biggest game ever." And the media was hyping it, and the fans were hyping it. And the Steelers went into it like, "Oh, this is just another game. We're just going to go out and play, how we play, and we're going to try to win it." So, the Beckham being gone, I think, will be a positive, even though you wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah, and you just brought up something that is the reason why Cleveland is where they are and Pittsburgh is where they are. Cleveland looked into this game as if they lost, the world was going to come to an end, because it was their first taste of possibly having a big game scenario, where Pittsburgh been there, done that. This isn't a big game, and our big games are in February in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that's where Cleveland wants to be, and that's the reason why the gap is where it is.
And not just Cleveland. There are other teams that, as you go from being a bad team to a pretty good team, you get to that point, and everybody wants to say, "Oh, this is the game. You got to win this game," and you put all into it, everything into it. You don't win it, and then now what? Well, you've got to get to that attitude that there's 16 regular season games. You're going to lose. Even if you're a really good team, you're going to lose 4 or 5 of them. So, don't be focused on week 7, week 6, whatever it was. There's a whole bunch more to play. So just, go out. Each game's the game. You do your best to win it, and you can't get way high and then way low again with your emotions and your attitude.
Agreed, 100%. Doug, always a pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you next week.
All right, take care.
You got it. Doug Chapin, Tribune Chronicle editor, as well as the Vindicator sports editor, and a fantastic job at both. And like I said, when you have games like last weekend where Garfield was playing Crestview, you just have one reporter there, and it's pretty simple. If Garfield had won the game, all right, you're gonna have the article in the Tribune Chronicle is going to be based upon, okay, Garfield won the game, there you go. And the Vindicator article will be a little tweaked, talking about the losing effort by Crestview. In this regard, Crestview won, so the Vindicator article on Sunday was a little bit different than the Tribune Chronicle article because, well, Crestview is in Vindicator country. Garfield is in Tribune Chronicle country. And I think it's fascinating in that regard. And again, I think that you have some fascinating matchups, which could very well be, once again, articles. Now, I don't think there's going to be anything that close this week. But there might be some different ways of going about, especially in the all local matchup. Well, of course, you're going to have a reporter there in Division 4 between Ursuline and Poland, and both teams are in Vindicator country. Division 5, Crestview and South Range, both teams in Vindicator country, and you're going to have a story based upon who wins the game and the team that loses the game. Yeah, you'll get some quotes from the coach, and depending on how exciting the game is, you might get some quotes from different players on the winning and losing team. But it's not going to be. It's not going to be done as different as last week, where you had a team in Tribune Chronicle country taking on a team from Vindicator country, where you have that opportunity. One reporter alters the story 2 different times, and I think it's fascinating from that regard. And it's really cool. One of the really cool reasons to have two newspapers owned by the same company. I think it brings an interesting perspective. In years gone by, when the Vindicator was separately owned from the Tribune Chronicle, you wouldn't have that. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just I think it was pretty unique how the stories were told a little differently in both newspapers on Sunday. All right, 330-886-0813. It's a Tuesday edition of Running Point, courtesy of Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Greg Greenwood and the fellas and gals over in Austintown at Greenwood Chevrolet, outstanding job. Their showroom is just incredible. The service department, bravo to you guys. Just a great place to purchase your new vehicle, whether it be brand new or used. Greenwood Chevrolet, the place to go on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Back in a bit.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. It is a cold autumn afternoon in the Mahoning Valley, and you can bet your bottom dollar the kids are probably in the Watt Center, the YSU baseball team, in the Watt Center today, taking advantage of the comfortable surroundings inside as we go via the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline to our next guest, the skipper of the YSU baseball program, Dan Bertolini. Coach, how are you today?
I'm good, Ron, and you should know us better than that. We're a lot tougher than that. We're not in the Watt Center today. We're at a beautiful Eastwood Field. I got shorts on.
There you go. All right. I stand corrected. Well, I mean, it is good weather for Penguins, and you guys are Penguins, so I stand corrected. That's look, I mean, if you guys are going to close out the fall practice schedule, and you guys will close it out on Saturday, you might as well close it out in Penguin type of weather.
Yeah, this is a warm spring day. If we're in the spring, we'd beg for this kind of weather if we could get day where it's not windy and about 50 degrees. I'll take that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what you guys have accomplished, because this will be the last time we have you on until after the first of the year when you guys start to get everything going. What have you accomplished? What's the biggest thing in your mind, Skip, that you guys have accomplished in this fall term of practicing with a very, very good, potentially really good baseball team in 2021?
Yeah, honestly, it's been challenging. This has been a challenging fall. I think our guys have done a good job with it. Just early on, we had some good weather. We've had to deal with some weather issues with having a natural surface. When it rains, it makes it tough to get all the work that you need to get in. But I think overall, our main goal was to get through the fall and be healthy. We wanted our guys to stay, fairly healthy, especially without, really having much of an off season in summer. Just trying to get them back acclimated to every day and in the weight room. And so I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We've stayed, relatively, knock on wood, injury-free in the fall. And, I think over the course, too, I think our offense has really taken some big strides the last couple of weeks. I've really seen the growth in our offense. It's been good to get these guys back. And we've really focused on, hitting good pitches, staying disciplined in the strike zone. Very similar to what the Dodgers kind of do is, they're going to make you throw strikes. They're going to make you compete in the zone, and then we're going to go attack baseballs that are in the strike zone. And I think our guys have done a good job of that this fall.
How gratifying is it that you have all of these kids that have decided to come back, and it's more – you don't necessarily have to be a teacher per se. You've got enough kids that are going to not only police the clubhouse, but they're going to be able to talk to the incoming freshmen and talk to the youngsters that might be in their second year in the program and say, look, let us lead, let us show you by example what we are expecting of you guys to do this year. How gratifying is that for you this coming season?
Yeah, it's a luxury that not a lot of coaches get that opportunity to have, and we're fortunate to have great leadership, good kids. I mean, I feel like our staff has done a great job of just bringing in good quality kids, well-rounded student athletes that want to do things and want to work hard and want to do things the right way. And when I think the ultimate goal is to have a player-driven team where guys they're self-motivated. They have leaders that can help motivate them within the team, and that's really our ultimate goal. Is we're here as facilitators to continue to work and tweak and teach, but when they can tend to take the ownership of this is their team, it really makes things special. So I think we have a good group, and I'm excited to see how this really comes to fruition here in the spring with a great spring season.
Who's opened your eyes among kids that you haven't really seen very much of, whether it be the upcoming freshmen that haven't played a single game in college? Who among the non-veterans has opened your eyes, whether it be offensively or pitching? Who has stood out in this fall camp?
Well, I think that the two guys that really come to mind would be Trey Law. He's a COVID freshman middle infielder. He's had a great fall defensively, can play multiple positions, and really made some headway. Took big strides from where he was a year ago till now. So I think he's been outstanding this fall. And I think Nick Perez, as a freshman, to come in, and he's had an outstanding fall. It's a 3-pitch mix. He can throw strikes. Works really hard. So we're looking forward to hopefully that to continue to there's a lot of time from now until the off season, but we don't have a lot of young guys that either didn't play a whole lot or freshmen. I mean, we have very limited young guys, so it's really nice to be in this situation. But for those guys, I thought they've had a great fall.
You have some stability and some consistency in February. I mean, in a perfect world, I mean, you can throw out a set lineup where people are going to be in their one position, and that's it. I mean, you have that stability available to you this year, and that's That's something that I don't think you have had very much of in your tenure at Youngstown State, Skip.
No, I mean we can start a lineup that started. Our entire starting lineup is back. Our entire pitching staff is back. So that doesn't happen ever, where we have an entire team that started most of the games for us last year and are back and healthy and ready to go. So yeah, the stability factor, the reliability factor is really the big part. Is you can be consistent, you can be reliable when you've been part of the program for a long time. When you return, there's no turnover. So that's been fun just to see that maturity from this group.
I know that the Horizon League has a lot of fish to fry before spring, and obviously they're still trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do with the basketball, let alone trying to figure out all the spring sports. But is there any headway on the format that you guys are going to be doing this year?
I mean, nothing's official yet, but I think we're working towards a 32-game conference schedule. There will be 4 games each weekend versus the same opponent. Some sort of format with 2 7s and 2 9s mixed in there, whether it's a 7 and a 9 and a 7 and a 9, or it's over a 3-day weekend with a 9, 2 7s, and a 9-inning game. So I think that's most likely. It would be an 8-week season. You'd play everybody once and 2 teams twice. I think that's realistic, looking at the landscape of college baseball and the way it's going, trying to limit travel, trying to limit the playing different teams on the same weekend, because we had a goofy schedule before. We played different teams on the same weekend. So I think it's a way to clean that up. There's going to be a little bit of an unbalanced schedule because of the number of teams that we have in our conference. So you're going to play 2 teams twice, so you'll play 2 teams 8 times and the other teams 4 times. But, with travel considerations, you'll have travel partners that you'll most likely play. I'm sure the closer teams, Wright State, Northern Kentucky, Oakland, those schools would be in our mix for travel partners. I think it's looking like that, but there hasn't been any indication of which way it's going to go at this point.
Non-conference games would be limited?
I would say, right now, I mean, this is me guessing. I think, they've kind of made an assumption that they're not really going to say much about our non-conference schedule. It's going to be up to the institutions to figure out what they want to do. But I wouldn't be surprised if something comes down from the NCAA at some point, kind of giving us some sort of direction on where we're going. There's a lot to figure out. I mean, they have to get through soccer scheduling and volleyball scheduling and lacrosse and everybody else that's playing in the spring as well. So there's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. I think the schedule might change 10 times. I mean, basketball has been up and down and trying to figure out what they want to do. So I think a lot will just be determined once we see what the basketball schedule is going to look like. Are they going to be able to play games during non-conference games during the week? Are they not? What's the testing protocol is going to be like? There's a lot that is going to be up for consideration kind of looking at our schedule. But as of right now, I feel great about the direction that we're going, and I feel like we have a good idea what at least our conference schedule will look like.
Well, the biggest fear is going through what we went through this past year, where you didn't even get the season hardly started before all hell broke loose and everyone decided to cancel. And given that COVID cases are on the rise, I got to believe that hopefully this time around, knock on wood, we're not going to have as much of a fear factor in this, and that cooler heads are going to prevail.
Yeah, and I think if we, looking back, obviously, if we knew now what we knew back then, we would have been able to navigate through a college baseball season last year. But with everything going on and the uncertainty and really not knowing what we were dealing with, it was very difficult. And looking back, obviously, it was the right decision. But now I think we're in a much better position with, baseball, professional baseball being able to be played, NFL is going off, all the college football season. So I think we're going to be, I think we're moving in a great direction, and we should be full go by the springtime.
All right. Speaking of professional baseball, the World Series is going on. Your World Series, did it conclude over the weekend?
No, actually, we had a couple personal issues and some things going on, so we scrimmaged last weekend, but it didn't count for the World Series. So we will finish the conclusion of the World Series this weekend. Weather permitting, we'll try to pick a day, one day this weekend. It's supposed to be Friday as of right now, 4 o'clock start. But those things can change with rain and weather. So we'll try to figure out what works best. And it's probably looking like a Saturday or Sunday. It's going to be a 9-inning game. It'll be the Game 3, winner take all.
All right, so we go to best of 3, Game 3, winner take all. And if you need someone to have some fun with that, just let me know, because I'll be more than happy to have some fun with that with you, Skep.
That sounds good. You're more than welcome. Come on out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. You got to get the chops ready for the start of the season, don't you know?
That's right.
So there you go. As far as the other World Series game is concerned, Game 6 tonight. I haven't even brought this up, but Game 6 tends to bring out some weird stuff as well as some really really cool stuff. Today is the 9th anniversary of David Freese having a night, a 2-run triple to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th inning at Busch Stadium against Texas, and then he walked it off with a bomb over the center field wall in the 11th inning to give the Cardinals a win in Game 6. They wind up winning the World Series in 7. Give me your best Game 6 memory in World Series history in your mind. I mean, as far as the games that you remember.
I think it has to be Joe Carter's walk-off home run in Game 6. I think I was probably like 5. I don't know. I was probably like 8 when that happened, but I remember sitting in the basement, my buddy's house. He was a big Blue Jays fan, and watching the home run go over the fence for the walk-off.
Yeah, just inside the left field foul pole. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's probably got to be one of the most memorable World Series moments, maybe ever. With that home run and saying, "Enjoy it, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life, or bigger hit in your life." That was a pretty cool moment.
No doubt. And the biggest for me was a game that I wasn't even able to see, because I can remember this like it was yesterday. I was working at a radio station in Mercer, Pennsylvania. It was a contemporary Christian station. And I was done at midnight, and I'm on my way back home. And I was rooting for the Mets in this. It was the '86 World Series, and the Mets were down to their final out, and I'm listening to. All right, Carter just got a base hit. Oh, okay. McReynolds just got a base hit. Wow, cool. Knight got a base hit. Okay, now you got runners at first and third. A run is in, and here comes Mookie Wilson. Wild pitch. McReynolds scores, or Kevin Mitchell. I'm sorry, not McReynolds. Kevin Mitchell scores. Tie ball game. You got Knight on at second base, and then Wilson hits this squibber up the first baseline. And boy, God bless Bill Buckner, who's no longer alive, and he was a person who spoke at the YSU breakfast from a few years ago. It went right under his glove. Wilson scores, Knight scores, Mets win, and they wind up winning the series in 7. Just a bizarre night at Shea.
Yeah, that was Bill Buckner he's a great man, and he was a great man, and we feel that was a bad, just a tough situation there, but a very memorable play. In a lot of people's minds, especially if you're a Mets fan.
Well, and it unfortunately stained his career, because Bill Buckner was a really good hitter, and until he got older, was a really good defensive player. I still blame John McNamara for putting him in the ball game as a late inning defensive replacement, even though his glove wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, that you could go through. You could watch the whole script on that whole thing on what happened, but. Unfortunately, that's the life we live, and that's what we deal with on a daily basis in sports, especially in the national level. One mistake can it gets sensationalized, and it really hampered the rest of his career with that.
Yeah, and the good news is there wasn't any social media, and there wasn't any internet back in the day. Otherwise, good God.
Although today. It would have been the news cycle for about a couple days, and it would have been gone, and people would have forgot about it. On to the next crazy thing.
You might be right on that, Skip. That's a good point. You might be right on that. Congratulations on the fall practice. Knock on wood, everyone's healthy, and enjoy the rest of the week. Hopefully the kids will work out hard on their own and get back at it after the first of the year. And before we know it, we're going to have a baseball season starting up.
Absolutely, we're excited for it, and appreciate being on. And if you need to warm up those chops, come on out this weekend. I'll let you know what time we're going to go. That
sounds like a plan, Skip.
All right.
All right, brother.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, 330-886-0813. There he is, the skipper of the YSU baseball team, Dan Bertolini, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Can you imagine the Buckner play in Game 6, which, by the way, Red Sox fans, prior to the 2004, they were always, Buckner, he cost us a series. No, he didn't. The wild pitch brought home the tying run. You guys are going to get beat anyway. Wow, Buckner cost us the series. Really? You had Game 7. You were winning in Game 7. You guys screwed the pooch in Game 7. I've always just been enamored with the stupidity when people sit back and say, "Wow, the Game 6. This is the reason why we lost the series." Like the Cardinals fans that bitch and moan to this day about the blown call at first base in the '85 series in Game 6, and it was a blown call. No two ways about it. Dave Pallone screwed it up. No two ways about it. I mean, who was it? George Orta was clearly out at first base. There's no two ways about that. He called him safe. Well, they didn't have replay back then. And Orta wound up scoring. I think it was Garth Orge, either Garth or Dane Orge, got a base hit, and the Royals wound up winning the game. And the Cardinals are like, "Well, this screwed up a series." Really? You had Game 7. I'm sorry that Joaquin Andujar didn't want to show up in Game 7 and you got your ass kicked. It is what it is. It always amuses me when people find a way to complain about something in a best-of-7 series before the series is even over. Oh, this cost us a series. You got more time. You got another game to be played. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, stop with that. All right, 330-886-0813. MP Vivo, Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We'll take a time out and be back with more. It's a Tuesday edition of Running Point, brought to you, of course, by the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions, reminding you that it is open enrollment for Medicare.
Now through December 7th, those who qualify can visit our local independent agency by calling us at 330-953-3722 or visiting us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Attention all football fans. If you can't see your team play, come and dine with us and watch it live at Boardman, Canfield, or Cortland. Or staying at home, we'll deliver right to your door. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
2020 will be a season like we've never seen before, but 21 Sports and YSN will be there for every key moment. The plays, the players, and the stories that will headline this season. Delivered by 21 Sports and YSN.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
You may find yourself in some difficulty this winter. Don't get whacked by high heating bills. Call Michael at MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Michael is a trusted friend who will be able to help you with many things, like getting a 95% high-efficiency furnace this winter from Rude. Michael relies on Rude, so should you. Call MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning for a free estimate. 330-259-0486. And take care of your heating and air situation.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Armstrong Local Programming has always delivered an exclusive and unique perspective on the very best events your region offers. High school sports, community events, parades, all your favorite shows from Armstrong are now calling the Neighborhood Channel their home.
Watch Out and About, Locally Speaking, and many other great local shows right here on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
Find out everything that the Neighborhood Channel has to offer at ArmstrongNeighborhood.com. Spirit, town pride, local communities. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ron Potesta with you. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. We will have Rob Schmidt on, the voice of the YSU men's basketball team. He will be coming on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline in the final hour of the show. Yesterday, Jared Calhoun spoke at the Curbstone Coaches. And by the way, fantastic group of folks. And if you want to go over there, they meet every Monday. Where are they? They're over at the Avion Banquet Center on Western Reserve Road. It's a fantastic time. It's an informal kind of a thing. It starts at noon. I think it's done a little after 1 o'clock. It's pretty cool, and you get a lunch out of the deal, and it's pretty cool. Jared Calhoun made mention that, and in quoting the head coach of the YSU Penguins, the men's basketball team, the Horizon League has decided on a back-to-back setting, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. That is this year's format. You won't have the traditional schedule where you play a team at home, then on the road. So it's going to be split right in half. You'll play 20 games with 10 on the road in a back-to-back setting with the other 10 here in a home-and-home setting. Just the overall back-to-backs will be different. The way you'll strategize and game plan throughout the week will be so much different because you are playing 80 minutes of basketball in a very short period of time. So you're not going to be going through the league once and then going through the league a second time. And that's something that we're going to talk with Rob Schmidt about, because this makes things a little bit more interesting and possibly a little more entertaining in terms of the schedule and how they're planning on doing this. The non-conference schedule is, and they're still trying to get it together, but the non-conference schedule includes hosting a tournament on Dom Rosselli Court. Still working through the non-conference schedule, but they're looking to set up a tournament and host a tournament November 27th, 28th, and 29th. So we'll see what is there. West Virginia in Morgantown on December the 2nd, and other than that, still trying to figure out the rest of the non-conference schedule. But the idea that the Horizon League is going to do a back-to-back setting, Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday. And by the way, look, if you're going to do this, Saturday and Sunday, why not? I mean, look, we're in the dead of winter anyway. And let's be honest. I mean, let's be honest. If you're a college basketball fan, how many of you turn on the TV on a Sunday and watch college basketball? Right here. Hello. Yeah, right here. Absolutely. That's just one of the things that you do, especially when football season is over with. In late January, early February, going through the month of February on a sports weekend, absolutely, I'm watching college basketball. Absolutely. And if I'm not watching college basketball, I'm watching the NBA. But, if I'm watching college basketball, hell yes, I'm watching a game on Sunday afternoon. Now, in this particular format, if YSU is home and they're home on a Saturday and a Sunday and they're playing the same team, I kind of like this. I kind of like this format. Now, it's not perfect, obviously. I mean, the perfect scenario is play your teams round one, go through the 10-game schedule because there's now 11 teams in the conference. Play your 10 teams, and then do it again the second go around, and you got your 20 league games. I mean, that in a perfect scenario, that works. And normally you would play your game Thursday night, you would be in one place. Saturday night, you'd be in another place. And chances are you're playing both of those games, whether it be at home or on the road. Very rarely are you going to split those two games up because, well, you have a travel partner. In our case, Cleveland State is the travel partner with Youngstown State, where they would both be going to, let's say that if they're going to the Michigan tour of things, you've got Detroit and you've got Oakland. Okay, one of the teams would play Detroit on a Thursday night, the other team would play Oakland, and then the format flips. Let's say YSU's playing in Detroit on Thursday. Well, Cleveland would be playing in Oakland, which is a half an hour north of Detroit. And then on Saturday, well, Cleveland State would play Detroit. YSU would play Oakland. If you're going into the Chicago Green Bay tour, one of the teams, YSU or Cleveland State, would play UIC. The other team would play Green Bay. University of Milwaukee at Green Bay. And then the next game, which would be on a Saturday, YSU would then play Green Bay, and Cleveland State would play UIC. It's just you have a partner. And in this case, it's Cleveland State and YSU would be the two teams that would be essentially traveling to the road games, whether it be Wright State and Northern Kentucky, whether it be IUPUI and now Fort Wayne, whether it be, or not even Fort Wayne. I think Robert Morris might be in this, and who knows. But I just think it's a great format. In a perfect world, that's the format. Okay, wonderful. I kind of like this format, though. And again, you're going to play 20 games. 10 of the games you're going to be playing on the road, a back-to-back setting. And then 10 games you're going to be home in a back-to-back setting. So I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea. And if you're going to play Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, okay. All right, you're going to have, instead of Thursday, Thursday, Sunday, or Thursday, Saturday, okay, we'll make it one day instead. So you'll go to X school here, and then you'll turn around and then play that same school the next night. I kind of like that. I kind of like that format. So, you'll have 10 games or 10 teams. 5 of them will be played, both games on the road. And 5 of those teams, both games, will be played at home. Now, what is curious is, all right, which teams are we going to get? Do you draw them out of a hat? Do you have a particular set schedule? Is it going to be geographically based? How are we doing this? I think this is going to be pretty fascinating how they do this. We'll get Rob Schmidt on and try to figure this one out. The other thing that is potentially entertaining is this. And we haven't discussed this, and I think this is something that might even extend the YSU window of opportunity for another year. The NCAA did something that was very much under the radar, which we obviously haven't known until just now. The NCAA has given winter sports athletes another year of eligibility. So the seniors this year, they get a chance to return next year. That's huge. I mean, that is really, in Donald Trump's world, huge. Let's go to the phone lines. Emmanuel, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's up, brother?
It's like something you've never seen before.
Yeah, this is something that you've never seen before. It's huge. China. As long, hey Emmanuel, as long as we don't go to China, we'll be good.
Okay. How was your weekend, my brother?
It was all right. I mean, it was good.
You are a lucky man, because I can remember going with my dad to the Struthers Field House and my uncles. Those days are those were some great days.
Well, listen, it was a last minute kind of a thing, and with tickets being so scarce, my sister, this would be Anthony's mom. She was under the weather, so she wasn't able to go to the game. So, she texted me and said, "Hey, do you want to take Dad to Garrettsville Garfield and go to the game on Saturday night?" I said, "What? You're not going?" She goes, "No, I'm not. I'm under the weather. I'm not really feeling all that great." I said, "No, yeah, I'll take Dad, no problem." So he drove up, I drove back, and the one thing that I will say that probably needs to be improved upon, the stands over at Garrettsville Garfield. You didn't have the kind of like when you have those aluminum stands, you didn't have an area where you can climb up steps and then go across to sit down. There were no steps. So if you were climbing up these aluminum stands, you had to climb the aluminum stands instead of steps between the two. Normally you would have steps in the aluminum stands, like halfway between the halfway mark of the visiting stands.
Like when you run the steps, for practice, you run the steps to get in shape. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, they didn't have those. So imagine trying to trying to get someone to climb the aluminum stands and not the steps, but try to we obviously needed it, have a little bit of help, but everything, all's well that ends well. Everything worked out well. It's just I would hope that you would have a divider and have steps instead of just relying on people to climb up the stands instead of using steps. That was just a pet peeve.
Well, the first time that I felt like I was a man is when me, my father, and my two uncles, we went up to Struthers Field House, and they gave me the keys. Man, God. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I really felt good. I think you're lucky, man.
Well, and now hang on a second, because, on the way home, you might be driving on the way home, but you still got the person that brought you into this world, and he can damn sure take you out of this world, looking at you going, hey, you're going a little too fast. You may want to slow it down. And given the fact that it's his car, what the hell am I going to do? Am I going to sit back and go, hey, man, just shut your mouth. Let me do the driving. I can't do that. It's his car. So there you go.
Yeah, and you know what? I guess all dads are the same. My dad told me the same thing, and dude, I was doing the speed limit. He was amazing, but I would never, ever, ever forget that. I mean, that was one of my proudest days in life, man.
Amen.
But, listening to your show, I'm going to touch on a few things. I believe I'd love to have that bye week. But see, me, I look at things different. I feel we get healthier, and guess what? I'm getting ready to put a wrinkle in. And I'm going to show you're going to see something that you haven't seen all season when I play you in the first round.
You could. I mean, yeah, you absolutely could. Now, here's the thing, Emmanuel. What happens if, and this doesn't happen very often. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you play 10 weeks of football. Chances are you're going to have all kinds of bumps and bruises and injuries. But let's assume that you find the unicorn and everyone is healthy and you're playing unbelievable football. Nobody's going to want a bye week then.
Well, I like walking around for a week saying I'm in the playoffs and I'm the big dog on campus. But I just
hey, none of us are going to be dating any cheerleaders in that scenario. Now you need to stop that.
Okay. Well, and as far as basketball, right? High school basketball.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to get too in depth in it, but I think it's just like football. I think it's like scheduling. Who you schedule, because I know I've sat over there. I think it was last year. I sat over there in Boardman's field house, and man, that place was packed with Boardman and packed with Warren. The band was playing. I've sat in Warren, right, and watched when Akron St. Vincent St. Mary come down here. They brought a whole bunch of people. Garfield Heights. If you're playing teams that people know about, they're going to go see it.
Well, and the other thing, and you brought up Boardman. Look, I mean, Boardman was an unbelievable team last year. They played some really, really good basketball, and Coach Birch he doesn't have as many tools in the shed this year, but he still has some pretty decent tools. And look, I mean, if you have a really good program, naturally people are going to show up. It's unfortunate, you do have some schools that are a basketball savvy school, but there aren't as many in our area as there used to be. And that is presenting a problem because attendance wise, it feels like friends and family and that's it. When you go to a high school basketball game, it's not like the years, 30, 40 years ago where gymnasiums were packed to the rafters and then some on particular nights and on Tuesdays and Friday nights around the area in boys basketball. And I want to preface this is boys basketball we're talking about and not just girls basketball. This is more of a boys basketball conversation.
Well, yeah, I understand that. And another thing, too, it seems like the more the years go by, the more me and you talk about the same thing. I did something Sunday that I have never, ever done before in my life. I actually called the Pittsburgh Steelers post-game show and talked to Charlie Batch. And you know what I told them? I told them a win is a win, and I appreciate it. But we cannot be throwing the ball 49 times and have 3 interceptions. Now,
listen, that third interception that Ben threw was inexcusable. I mean, there was no reason for him to throw the ball. You guys had a 3-point lead. You didn't need to throw the ball in the end zone. You just run the ball, kick the field goal, take more time off the clock, kick the damn field goal, go up by 6 points, and trust your defense that they'll take care of business. You opened the door for Tennessee, and thankfully karma came and finally slapped Tennessee back where they should be with a missed field goal at the end of the game, which, as a Bills fan, thank you very much, karma. We appreciate that.
Well, the bottom line is this. I got to say what Yogi said. I'm feeling deja vu all over again. This is the same guy that threw 4 interceptions and said, so what, I'm a gunslinger. And I asked him, are we seeing that gunslinger again? They're like, no. I'm like, well, is there something wrong with college? They're like, no, we agree with you. But, we can't be throwing. If you throw the ball over 40 times a game, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to win. That's even Buffalo or anybody.
Agreed.
And I just don't. And he's going back to that check with me. I'm not happy about this. I mean, it's going. We won. Trust me. A W is a W. I'll take it all day long. And another thing too, right? I haven't seen. Now, people have been around longer than me, and I know people listening to your show have been around longer than me, watching Warren Sports. I have never, ever in my life seen a Warren varsity football team have 45 total yards at halftime. That's what we had against Fitch. 45 total yards.
Yeah, it was amazing what they did in the second half. It really was.
It's pretty simple, Ron. It's pretty simple. Latonia's still in the same way now with their coach. South Range and those guys, Poland and those guys, Canfield and those guys. Sometimes you just got to remind your team just who the heck you are. Excuse me, who the hell you are. Listen, you're a Raider. Go out there. It's not about winning or losing. It's how you play the game. It's unexcusable to have 45 total yards in the first half. That's just unexcusable. So they were reminded who they are and how bad they were playing, and they came out and won the game.
Well, there were a lot of, and there were some other some things that were buttoned up, and I thought I thought that they did a very nice job of adjusting to some of the things that hurt them in the first half, and game of adjustments. When you get into the postseason, I mean, you know this all too well. You get into the postseason, it's all about adjustments. If something doesn't work for you that normally worked for you in the season, but you have talents that can be used that wasn't necessarily used from the in the beginning of the year or during the course of the year, you simply go to that because you're in a survival mode now. You win to move to the next round, because if you don't win, there is no next round.
Well, let's call it like we see it. Austin Town Fitch has a good program. They have a good team, and they have a playbook that's 12 inches thick. I mean, they run reverses, they throw back passes, they do onside kicks. And when you play a team like that, you have to play fundamentally sound. You can't be slanting. You just got to play everything basic and put a zone on them. Because if you're doing things and they see that you're doing that, I mean, God forbid if that guy would have caught that throwback pass. We were beat. He was wide open. That back, he was wide open, and he dropped it. But, they're 17 and 18-year-olds. And let me ask you about Hudson. They beat us when we had Lynn Bowden. What do you think our chances are going in to Hudson this week?
Honestly, I think this is going to be a great game, and it can go either direction. And Harding's playing some really good football. There's no two ways about it. And I think that's I think this is just going to be a fantastic game, and I think the other bracket, Hoban takes on Benedictine, and Hoban's going to want to sit back and remind the kids from Cleveland, hey, we didn't play our best game and still beat you guys. I would expect Hoban to cruise Saturday or Friday, with no disrespect to Benedictine, because I think Hoban's in playoff mode now, and I think Harding has a shot at beating Hudson. Look, I mean, whoever wins the game is going to have their hands full in the regional championship game. But look, I mean, I don't think that there is a zero chance for Harding this week. And I think they certainly looked great in the second half in their victory against Fitch. If you play that caliber of football, I think Harding could be in the regional final against Hoban.
Well, two more things. Hudson had to go into overtime against Painesville, and I don't understand that. I mean, I really thought Boardman was going to beat Painesville, and I think if they play again, Boardman will probably beat them.
Riverside is just a very strange team. This is a program that, I hear whispers up there that those kids, the blue chip kids, would skip over to Menor and play football open enrollment style at Menor. And that's one of the reasons why Riverside was never really that great of a team. In the last couple of years, they decided to stay in Riverside, and now they're starting to get a program together. I don't know if that's true or not, but you hear whispers up there. Look, at the end of the day, it didn't surprise me that Hudson and Riverside was an overtime game. I think that Hudson is a fantastic team. They're one of those programs that they're in the suburbs of Akron, but they don't play like a suburban team. They have a lot of anger and grit toward them that you don't normally see in a suburban team. They play
with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, they do. They play with a chip on their shoulder. And again, I mean, the suburbs are the suburbs for a reason. And normally when you take on a suburban team, they don't have chips on their shoulder. This team has a chip on their shoulder. That's why Hudson is where they are right now. That's why Canfield is where they are right now. I mean, Canfield's playing with a chip on their shoulder. I love it. I love when schools, and it doesn't matter whether you're from the city, the country, the suburbs, if you play with a chip on your shoulder, I love that brand of football. I just do. I love when kids come in, not with an arrogant attitude, but with an attitude of, here's the chip on our shoulder, try to knock it off. Like, who was it? Robert Conrad back in the day used to have that damn alkaline battery on his shoulder, and he used to have that smug look on his face and go, come on, I dare you to knock this battery off my shoulder. And you just want to climb through the TV and knock the battery off his shoulder, but you couldn't do it.
Well, we did that back in the day in school. Remember, we put some on the shoulder. I dare you to knock it off. I mean, you remember that?
Hey man. The problem with me was I would have a sandwich on my shoulder and say, I dare you to knock that off. They wouldn't knock it off. They'd take it and they'd eat it, and then I don't have any food.
And one more thing, because I know Tony's listening, right? And I want everybody to understand one thing. Hoban is not the defending champion. The defending champion is still playing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, we all talk about Hoban this and Hoban that. They're not the champion. They can get beat, and they get beat. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, they can be beat. There's no two ways about that. Absolutely, they can. Anybody can be beat. Look at Medina. Of all teams in Division I, they have taken down not one, but both of the big-time parochial schools in Cleveland. They knocked down Lakewood St. Ed's 2 weeks ago, and last weekend they knocked off St. Ignatius. I mean, this is a program that it's an afterthought. They're normally not a really good football program year after year. And here's Medina. Oh, by the way, we're going to knock off St. Ed's, and to give an encore performance, we're going to send Ignatius to the curb as well. And they did it. Kudos.
Strange thing. Our regular season 10th game, we were supposed to play them.
Yeah, that's.
And I think we got a home and home with them, so we're going to be playing them.
Well,
and
I just wish we didn't have COVID, because I'm going to tell you what, there's games this weekend. You don't think Poland wouldn't be shoehorned and then some? That game would be sold out capacity, people to the top of the stands, and then you'd have about 10 or 15 deep around the track. There would be people upon people upon people. on Saturday night at Poland, and it's a damn shame that we're in a COVID world because I can see Canfield and Streetsboro would be jammed to the top of the stands at Streetsboro, and I've driven past that football stadium. It's not necessarily the greatest stadium in terms of how many people can be seated over there. I think Canfield might be a little bit bigger than Streetsboro. Harding and Hudson would have capacity crowd and then some. Crestview and South Range, anyone that doesn't have a ticket to the Ursuline Poland game would sashay their backside to the Crestview South Range game, and that game would be jammed to the top of the bleachers at South Range. Mogadore and Springfield. Mogadore brings everyone and their brother. Springfield brings the entire town.
Springfield travels like Notre Dame. They go everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Dalton would bring their Daltonites to Mollenkopf to take on JFK. McDonald would bring their town to Lucas.
I would be in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would be there.
Yeah,
Let me ask you a question.
I think it would be great if we didn't have COVID, but unfortunately, the real people that are going to be hurt in all of this. That's going to help us, by the way, because $9.99 will get you games.
I was getting ready to say that. You can see every game you just mentioned at home, eating. And like I told my daughter today, and I was talking about I might need to lose a few pounds. I said, but I got to eat when I'm watching a football game. I don't know about you.
There's no two ways about it. And let's be honest for a second, Emmanuel. If we're in Howland. The hot sausage sandwiches are going to be eaten in multiple, and there's no two different ways about that.
If we in Howland, I hate to drop a name. We're in Howland. I'm getting that the DeRusso's sausage.
Yeah, DeRusso. Yeah. Oh, yeah. DeRusso's amazing.
One more last thing. I heard there's a rumor that the Cardinal Mooney's going to play Hubbard next year, regular season.
Yeah, it's not a rumor. It is a fact. They're going to
unbelievable.
They're going to play in Hubbard, and the last time those two teams played, those two teams belonged to the old Steel Valley Conference. Now, think about this for a second, Emmanuel. When's the last time Hubbard was in the Steel Valley Conference? I mean, you got to.
I didn't have no kids then.
Yeah, you got to go back.
I didn't have no
No,
kids then.
and you were just coming out of high school back then.
Yeah.
Or recently graduated. Yeah,
Reserve was still in school.
We're talking mid-late 70s here. The last time Hubbard was in the Steel Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a while since these two teams have played each other.
Well, I don't know. I'm afraid to go outside. You got Ursuline playing Poland, and you got Gardner Moody's Kevin Hubbard. I'm gonna leave that alone, Ronnie.
Listen. All I know is, if I was walking barefoot somewhere, my toes would be frozen because hell's frozen over with stuff going on. I'm just saying.
Last thing. Tampa Bay is going to win it. They're going to win Game 6, and they're going to win it all.
If they win tonight. And again, I'm going to bring out my Dodgers jersey tomorrow, whether the Dodgers win or they lose. I'm going to bring out my custom Dodgers jersey tomorrow, just because. But if the Dodgers lose Game 6 tonight, this is their bullpen game. I'm going to be so pissed at this organization because there's a kid that has been pitching relief for the Dodgers that should not be pitching relief for the Dodgers. The long red hair of Dustin May. This kid's a starting pitcher. And why they have him in the bullpen is beyond me. It's Andrew Friedman, who was the president and general manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and he started all this BS with, if we only have 4 starters, then we're gonna have a bullpen day, and everyone will just we'll have 4 starters and 1 bullpen day. Bullpen days don't cut it in Major League Baseball. You got a starting pitcher in Dustin May. Why you are not using him in the starting rotation is beyond me. And if the Dodgers lose Game 6 tonight because of this BS Johnny Allstaff bullpen day, they deserve to lose the damn series. They deserve to.
What do you think about trying to steal home?
I loved it. I thought I was a kid again.
But first and third, and don't score any runs. Come on, man.
Come on. Let's admit this. Didn't you feel like a kid again? The last time someone tried to steal home in a World Series, Jesus, you got to go back about 50 years.
You know what I thought about? I thought about Tommy Lasorda. You don't make the first or the last out of its plate.
Well, you don't. You also don't make the first or last out at third base too. So
So I thought about Tommy Lasorda. But and one more thing, I gotta give a shout out. You know, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but I gotta give a shout out to them Cleveland Browns. I understand it was the Cincinnati Bengals, but them fellas fought to the end, and that was a big win. And guess what, man? They're 5-2. I told people that the Browns had a decent team.
I mean, look. I mean, they're gonna win some ball games. It's you know, I thought that 9 wins would be their watermark. Maybe 10 if things went right. Well, look. I mean, they're 7 games into this season. They got 9 games left. They have the easiest schedule percentage-wise as of right now. Can you see 10 wins? Yeah, I see 10 wins. But you know, at the end of the day, you still have to get a linebacker and a defensive back to shore up some problems that the Browns have, because there's no secret you're going to have to score 30-plus points to win, because your defense is going to be giving up 30-plus points. And here's the other thing. If it weren't for this amazing pass rush that the Browns do have, that they're able to get pressure on the quarterback consistently with 4 guys rushing the passer, if it weren't for that, can you imagine how bad this defense would truly be without a pass rush?
They'd be worse than the Cowboys. But the secret to being good is you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Yeah. And as long as they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, that's making a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Well, Ronnie, man, thanks for taking my call, my brother. And you're looking good. I'm watching you. You're looking good, but you need to put on some doggone Yankees gear, man.
Come on. Now, look. I mean, hell's already frozen over with Mooney playing Hubbard and some other stuff happening. I mean, listen. The day I put Yankee gear on is the day the world stops.
Well, one thing, I'm going to say this and shut up. One thing we know for certain, the Canfield ain't playing harder than football, so the world is still a little bit right. You have a nice day, my brother.
Man, be good. 330-886-0813. I think that the world stops officially if I put Yankee crap on. It's not going to happen, folks. That's just, no. That's the world either stops or something has really, really gone wrong. If yours truly's putting Yankee crap on, that's not going to happen. Pinstripes. The only pinstripes I want is a pinstripe suit. You know, a nice little custom made pinstripe suit. It's the only pinstripes I want to wear. 330-886-0813. Back in a bit.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts. Boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles. We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect.
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
More local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Attention football fans, order Coca's Pizza tailgate package for only $54.99. You'll receive 24 slices of our delicious cheese pizza, 20 jumbo wings, and 2 of our famous foot-long pepperoni rolls. Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Your Armstrong services are more important than ever. There are more and more connected devices in the home these days. To get the most out of your experience, you need a network that is always getting better. You deserve superior performance, and that's what Armstrong offers every day. Whether you're working from home, enjoying your favorite content together, or simply catching up while apart, Count on Armstrong to keep you connected to what matters most.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. You know that you can tell how the winter is coming in this area. I mean, other than obviously the weather forecast. Winter's coming because the horses are running at Hollywood. Because October through April is the horse racing season at Hollywood. And they just started racing over at Hollywood Casino, where gigantic racetrack, just beautiful, beautiful racetrack. And obviously you have the casino and you have the racetrack and Mahoning Valley, Hollywood Gaming at Mahoning Valley. They have the races and the racetrack is open, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a week. And they just started doing it. Last week, I think it was the first week that they started. So you know that we're now embarking into the winter, late fall, early winter, and through the winter and into the early part of spring. You'll have horse racing over at Hollywood. So there you go. That's when you know the bad stuff weather wise. Well, I mean, it's for some folks they love snow. Snow is right up there with the New York Yankees for me. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. It's every year I remind myself, hey, you used to live in South Florida. Just saying, Ron, you used to live in South Florida. Why you would have left that wonderful slice of paradise in the wintertime for the weather here? Yeah. So every once in a while you remind yourself of that, and you just realize that's all right. It is what it is. All right, 330-886-0813. Good news is we got a lot of things that will a lot of really fun things potentially that are going to keep us all occupied. The biggest of which is this YSU men's and women's basketball program. Yeah. I think we might have some fun at Beagley. Now the problem is COVID, and how many people are going to be allowed to go to a basketball game? How many people are going to be allowed to go see YSU play basketball, men's or women's? It sucks. Potentially we're looking at 2 programs that could be fun. I mean, it could be really, really fun. And unfortunately, again, we're not going to get 6,000 people at Beagley. Not under the current rules. And again, these rules are set forth by Governor Mike DeWine, who's basically told everyone in the state of Ohio, hey, you're only going to be able to put X amount of people in a stadium or in a gymnasium or in an arena to watch a game. And it's not just Youngstown State, the men's and women's basketball program. Take a look at the Youngstown Phantoms. And we haven't heard from our guy Andrew Goldman in a while, and maybe I'll get a hold of him and see what's going on, because the Phantoms have already started their hockey season at Cavelli. Seriously, you feel for these teams. You just feel for these teams. Think about this. You're trying very hard to put together not just an opportunity for the kids to have some fun, but this is a business too. I mean, this is a business, and especially with the Phantoms. I mean, look, with the Penguins, it is a business, even though it's under the umbrella of college. It's still a business. You still have a budget. The athletic department has a budget, and it is run like a business, whether people want to believe this or not. I mean, if you had Ron Strollo, and I'd love to talk with him, and hopefully we'll make that happen, because Ron and I have a pretty good relationship. It's a business. And it sucks. It sucks that we're not going to be able, especially this year. Oh my God, two teams that are going to be that there's so much excitement level for both of these teams, and unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to have a capacity crowd. I mean, not that we've ever had very many capacity crowds, but the opportunity to have a capacity crowd is taken off the board as of right now. Now, hopefully all of this changes. Hopefully, somehow, some way, we get the COVID cases down considerably, and somehow, some way, we're able to go back to business as usual. But I mean, the reality is, look, we had 2,500 plus cases yesterday, new cases in Ohio. It ain't going away anytime soon. It just isn't, and it sucks, because we were going to have a lot. And we are going to have a really good men's and women's basketball program at Youngstown State. And unfortunately, we're not going to have 6,000 people at Bigley. We're not going to be able to do that. It's not going to happen. And you feel bad for the Phantoms organization. Here's this organization trying to make a buck. They're a business. It's young kids that are playing hockey. Great brand of hockey. If you've never gone to Cavelli to watch this brand of hockey, it's a solid brand of hockey. It is. It's a solid brand of hockey. And Lord knows the USHL has a ridiculous amount of kids that have played there in the last 10, 15 years that have gone on, and they're now playing in the National Hockey League. The list is long. Hell, the Phantoms have a couple of kids that have more than a few kids that have gone on and are currently playing in the National Hockey League. It is a solid league. And I feel bad for the Phantoms organization, because, here we are, Cavelli Center, gorgeous facility. And, well, you're not allowed to put that many people in this facility because, well, we're living in a COVID world. That sucks. You're trying to run a business, and you're only allowed a certain amount of people that can come to your ballpark or come to your arena. That's tough. That's tough. I mean, look, say what you will about Major League Baseball, and I know people are going to sit back and the Indians fans are going to cry and complain. Well, here comes our owner Dolan. He's going to be trading off guys and not signing guys because he's cheap. Well, they lost a ridiculous amount of money. It's a business. You got to recoup the money. And let me gently remind everyone again, you guys weren't putting up your end of the bargain. Bottom third in attendance, 7 straight years. I mean, this year we didn't have fans. Bottom third in attendance. Teams averaging 92, 93 wins a year. You people don't show up. Of course he's going to start cutting payroll because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. It is what it is. It's a business. But I feel bad for the folks that, through no fault of their own, what are you going to do? The place holds 5,000, 6,000 people, but we can't we can't have 5,000 or 6,000 people because of the current climate that is going on in our country. So you can only go with what you get. It sucks. Especially when you're looking at two teams, and I'm going to go back to YSU, two programs that there's a lot of expectation, and there is realistic expectation that both of these teams in a regular, normal 29, 30 game season, and there's a pretty good chance these two teams win 20 games each. Yeah, but you're not going to get 6,000 in the stands, not in this current climate, you're not. Now, again, knock on wood, pray to God, capital G, that this all goes away so we can get 5,000 and 6,000 fans into the stands, because, man, that would be fun. I think the last time I saw Beagley completely full, you got to go back to Bryce Drew when he was still playing. That was the year that Valpo ran a Sweet 16. They went to the Sweet 16. Valpo came to YSU, and there wasn't a seat to be had at Beagley. And Valpo wound up beating YSU by 2 or 3 points. And it was a really, really fun game. And I was the PA announcer at the time for Youngstown State. That place was crazy. It was electric. I mean, it was electric. And one thing about Beagley, when that place is filled to the rafters, oh, dear God, is it loud. It's loud. Not Coliseum loud, Richfield Coliseum. By the way, let me throw this little nugget out there. What was it, 45 years ago yesterday? 45 years ago yesterday, the Richfield Coliseum was open for business. Frank Sinatra, of all people, Frank Sinatra opened up Richfield Coliseum, and he was the first concert at the Coliseum, the old Coliseum in Richfield, which is now I think it's a wildlife park of some sort. You couldn't you couldn't even think of a building, a monstrosity building like the Richfield Coliseum, where it used to be. You couldn't even think about a Richfield Coliseum being built in that facility now, because it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit the whole criteria of how the area is now. But back in 1975, the Richfield Coliseum was built, and Sinatra was the first person to have a concert at the Richfield Coliseum. And Sinatra flat out said it was the best place he had ever done a concert in from an acoustic standpoint. It was the greatest arena he had ever been in from an acoustic standpoint. And 1 year later, the Miracle of Richfield was going on. Cavaliers got really good in the 70s for a brief period of time. And I remember going to games at the Richfield Coliseum. That place was insane when it was loud. I mean, when it was filled and people were just losing their mind, especially in concerts. Oh, man, that was a great, great place to see a concert, to see the Cavs, to see the Force, to see the Barons. And it was just a great, great place because the acoustics in that place, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Beagley, when that place is jumping, when you get people in Beagley, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people in Beagley, that place is insanely loud. And unfortunately, not this year, but hopefully in years to come, we'll have that place jumping because, oh my God, there's nothing like basketball at Beagley when that place is jumping. And it's just a damn shame that as of right now, you're not going to get a whole lot of people going to, or a whole lot of tickets available. And that's the shame of it all. It really is. All right, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with I began
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Rain will come and go tomorrow. There'll be some dry intervals.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Coming up tomorrow, we will have our Notre Dame fix with our Notre Dame guru, Brian Driscoll. Man, the Irish coming off an absolute fantastic performance against Pitt. And yet they dropped one space in the AP poll because, well, you got to put the Buckeyes ahead of Notre Dame. You know, even though they didn't look nearly as impressive in their game against Nebraska, but hey, got to put Ohio State in the top three. So even though the Notre Dame Fighting Irish won 45-3, they dropped one place in the standings in the poll, which doesn't mean anything, but. I just think it was kind of stupid, which the polls pretty much are. All polls are. You know. So here's what it is. Brian Driscoll will join the show at 12:20. Brian Solnar from Mill Creek will have our PGA stop, and we will try to talk some golf at Mill Creek. Starting to run out of time to do some golfing. Hopefully, we'll get some great weather between now and the end of golf season at Mill Creek. But man, those guys have been busy this year. And obviously, the thing that we look forward to the most with Brian Tolnar, not just the PGA talk, but his tip of the week is becoming legendary around these parts. Quinn's game has improved dramatically because he's had the tip of the week. He has all of those nice little in order, nice little thing that he flips the card over and I'm supposed to do this, okay, and it hits the shot 200 yards down the center of the fairway. Thank you very much. He's going to be a PGA guy in the next couple of years. That's how good the tip of the week is. Now, me on the other hand, my golfing game is a lot like the military. Left, right. Yeah, is what it is. John Vargo from the Vindicator and Tribune Chronicle. He's our soccer guy. We're going to talk some soccer as well as the high school tournaments, volleyball, soccer. Cross country is going to have their regional, obviously high school football with the playoffs. So we'll talk with John Vargo at 2:00, and hopefully at some point tomorrow we'll either tomorrow or Thursday we'll squeeze Rob Schmidt into the conversation as well. He had some meetings this week, or today, I should say, so we weren't able to get him on today. Hopefully tomorrow or later in the week, we will squeeze in the voice of the YSU men's basketball program, Rob Schmidt. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, you have the Power Hour with the fellas. I think we're running out of squares to put the amount of people into place. You got everyone, from home or wherever the heck they are. Do you have anyone doing a square from a bar where you can hoist a beer or something where you're just? Because I think that would be pretty cool. Hey, I'm over here at Italian American Club, hoisting back a Budweiser, start talking sports, eat some pretzels and whatnot. I think that'd be cool. Maybe that's an idea. We can do that. That Power Hour is coming up next. We will talk tomorrow, noon to 3. It'll be a Wednesday edition of Running Point. Again, kudos to our new sponsor, Greenwood Chevrolet, Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you are in the market for a new or used automobile, go to Mahoning Avenue in Austintown and look up my buddy Greg Greenwood and the folks at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. That'll do it for a Tuesday edition of Running Point. We'll be back here tomorrow, noon to 3. It's Running Point on ysnlive.com. Power Hour coming up at the top of the hour. Have a great rest of the day,